Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to part 2 of the final video of our Course Design 101 series. So we have our base of our hole here, our tee box, our fairway, and our green. Now it's time to start adding some bunkers. So, what do I want this hole to look like? So again, we've kind of got this uphill look here. So I am thinking if if a ball lands short here, it's going to probably bounce backwards. So I don't know if I'm going to want to have a bunker right here. I might have it back over here. So I'm thinking maybe we do just a couple bunkers in here. So surfaces, bunkers. I still like the shapes for the bunkers. Personal preference. Let's go with some kind of funkier bunkers here. Do like these. We'll maybe change our advanced edit. Do something like that. Okay. I'm going to kind of chain a couple of these together maybe. There. This has turned into one large bunker, but that's okay. Again, I have no plan here at all, so bear with me. This isn't going to be a stunner of a hole, but for tutorial purposes, hopefully this is helpful for you guys. But yeah, it just kind of shows the struggles I have too of what I want a bunker to look like. A lot of people have a lot of methods on making bunkers, so just going to show you mine. So we'll put a bunker there. And maybe we'll put a bunker here off to the right here. I like this shape. I'm just going to kind of keep it. Kind of gives some cool... You can do a lot with it. Oh, a couple bunkers there. Now, bunkers at the back. Now, I'm not a huge fan of just for example, hiding a bunker on the downslope behind a green. For me, that's just, I don't know. I don't like it personally. So I do want bunkers back there, but how do we make it so at least it's partially visible? So that's going to require, oh, I'm about to sneeze. I apologize. Whew, excuse me. Really should have muted that, but I couldn't find my mute button. I was panicking. All right, so I'm just going to make a little bunker back here. Actually, this is quite a large bunker. But how do we pop that up a bit? So, again, I'd like to say there's different tools, sculpting tools, but really for me there's not. I am going to raise, though, this time. And I just want a little bit of that to pop up. So I don't want it to go too much, because then it starts to look crazy, but just enough. Don't really. I gotta add a little bit more to this bunker. Just add a little bit going this way here. Sure, why not? All right, so now we gotta get. Now what I want to do is I want to get these bunkers to sit right. They're down, but they don't really look very good. So we're gonna do our best. Again, flatten, raise. Actually, going back to flatten now. Just don't quite like how this thing sits yet. Just going around, smoothing some things out. Alright, that's alright. Like how this part sits. Maybe raise this up a bit. I mean there, like now we can see that back bunker. And the back hill isn't like ridiculously up. It kind of blends into the back, so I might add a little bit of height over here just to make that look a little more natural. Okay. All right, so now kind of gonna do the opposite here. Is I kind of just want, I want the back to be visible a bit more. Just going around. I think a bit here. I want to make sure I keep my slope. And now I'm actually going to start pushing these bunkers down a bit. Like that, and I'm going to push this whole thing down here. So now, do you see how those bunkers kind of sit on that hill a little bit better? So I think that looks significantly better. I mean, it's all right, but for tutorial sake, but just kind of using that flatten tool to just smooth things out and getting bunkers to sit in a certain way can be tricky. So now, like off the tee, I can see those. Those are some menacing bunkers I got to be careful about. So, so now let's just add. We should add a couple fairway bunkers, I guess. So I'm thinking for master clubs, back tees, and I'm assuming not everyone plays masters, so you got to think about that too. It's about 284, so they're going to be landing it about here probably on a no wind kind of day. So I mean, I think I could probably get away for a bunker up here for days with higher wind. Headwinds, people using lower clubs, I mean, I can put a bunker in here, and then maybe some bunkering on the right, I don't know. Yeah. So let's just add in some bunkers here. Surfaces. What do we want to do? Let's go with something like this, and then kind of add to it. So I'm just going to advance edit this a little bit. There. And sometimes I just like to use the little. There we go. The little circle and just kind of build my own little outcroppings here. I don't really know what I'm doing here. It's just adding some lobes to this fairway or this bunker. Interesting. Maybe I'll do the same over here. Do something like that. And I do also recommend, as you're going through, playtest, playtest, playtest. I mean, for tutorial sake, I'm not really playtesting this very much. Plus the fact I've been designing this for quite a long time. I have a pretty good idea of what works and what doesn't without playtesting, but as a new designer, I highly recommend you're trying out your course as much as you can as you're building it, because you know some shots might not work. And the things to really consider and think about are takes a while. Like, so, you know, try to post, once you build your courses, you know, ask for feedback. There are so many courses out there, so, you know, I recommend taking getting some screenshots, things like that, show off your course, asking politely for feedback, and build from there. And I also recommend, you know, if you get feedback from people, don't go back and fix it. Which kind of sounds odd, but just take what was said and go on and build another course. I mean, there's 100,000 courses in this game. Not a lot of people are going to want to spend their time, you know, unless it's a spectacular course, playing it again. I'm fully aware that courses I build, which can be fairly high quality, a lot of people might only play once, and I'm fine with that. So I'm adding a lot of bunkers here, by the way, but that's all right. So there. I am just talking and throwing some stuff down. So some pretty large bunkers. Now we're going to get those to sit kind of nice, hopefully. And I'm gonna stick with my, actually I'm gonna go to raise here. So I'm hoping this is somewhat helpful. Please let me know in the comments. Also things you might want to see for our Course Design 201 series. Not sure when I'm gonna get that going. But I do like doing these videos for you guys, and if they're helpful, I will continue to do what I can. But yeah, there's a lot of really good designers out there that, you know, I'm learning from too, so. All right, so that's sitting all right. Flatten this up a little bit. Oop. Bunkers can probably, for me, they take the most time on a course. Just getting them to sit kind of how you want them definitely takes practice. So they're very gradual. If you look at my height, they're very gradual changes. I'm not doing 30-foot changes. Usually it's no more than 3 or 4 feet. I kind of try to raise the back edge and lower the front edge so we can kind of see everything. So that is a very menacing looking tee shot. That's a lot of bunkers. I mean, quite a bit more than I would usually go with, but oh well. I don't quite like how that guy's sitting. Will do for now. Alright, so we obviously can't leave our bunkers like that. Obviously we are forgetting we need to do some sculpting. So I want to show you a couple sculpting techniques. Now that the classic click and drag method works, I'm going to show you that. And I'm also going to show you another method that I was, it was almost like a workaround before the patch that was shown to me by a designer named Victory Lane Sports. He's large designer over in TGC Tours community. He does a lot of awesome things for the community, and he's turning into a fantastic designer too. So he's got a Twitch, which I highly recommend you go check out. It's VCTRYLNSPRTS. So go check him out, give him some love as well, because he's turning into one heck of a designer. So anyway, our flatten tool, so using this little brush, going down, you know, about 5 feet, and now you can kind of just paint your bunker like this, and it should lower the whole thing, which is awesome. So I just kind of go through, paint the whole thing, small little brush. You know, go back over your high spots again. And then I like to usually go around my bunker lips too. A couple feet. It goes a little bit more dramatic. Just like the back. So that's one way. That's kind of the old TGC way. TGC 1 and 2 way. And the new way, Victory Lane Sports way. Which was kind of a neat way. It's a little bit of a slower technique, but it does create a nice effect. So it's another landscape flatten, but instead of that tool, it is this nice round one here. And don't actually lower it, raise it, which seems really weird. But if you raise it and start at the top of your bunker and kind of go down a little bit, it will actually lower your bunker and create a nice little pan. Like this. But this only works if you do a little bit at a time. Sometimes it's just like one click. It does create kind of a nicer pan. I'm actually I'm enjoying this method more than the old method lately. Just be careful. You don't want to go too deep, but so just kind of going through. Again, like I said, it's definitely a slower technique. And I'm probably not doing this justice like he would do it, but Well, now, yeah, it gets a little bit tricky once you get in there. Yeah, the high points of the bunker can be tricky. Something like this. So I'm clicking and dragging a little bit, but not a lot. All right, our high points here. And yeah, that's another way of doing it. Create some pretty good looking bunkers. I'm still not close to an expert at this method, so it's not. I'm learning this technique as well. So I mean, that's not a great bunker, but you get the idea. A little bit of practice, and I think you can pull off some good looks with this. I'm just gonna go around, fix the lips of my bunkers a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my tried and true method here. This bunker's gonna be a little bit trickier because it's sitting on a hill, but same method. Go through. Alright. Couple high spots here we want to get rid of. Okay. Now we're just gonna flatten this up a bit. The back edge especially. I'm just not a huge fan of how this is sitting. I'll actually lower that a bit. It's a little dramatic. Okay. Same with this guy, needs to be popped up a bit more. You know what? I'm actually gonna I don't like this bunker at all. I'm gonna get rid of this whole thing. So if people are trying to learn how to delete entire things, I don't know if I've gone over this yet, but select the thing you're trying to delete, go to multi-select and area delete, and a little red circle should show up. And you can delete all the shapes pretty quickly, which is nice. Yeah, we don't need that bunker there. All right. I'm trying to finish this as quick as I can. No, it's not overly exciting viewing. Fairway bunkers I'm making a little less deep than the green side, about 4 inches. Go through, paint the bunker. Now, I don't do this as painstaking as someone like Griff, if you're aware who he is. He's again another big designer over on TGC Tours, but his bunkers are immaculate. But I think he's got a slightly different way of doing it. I think he has some tutorials as well. You might want to take a look. I'm not sure what they're called, but I think he's done a couple bunker tutorials, especially, that I recommend giving a little look to. Okay, we are getting there. All right. That's good for now, for speed's sake. I would clean these up, obviously, quite a bit more, but as you can see, this click and drag method works very well now. It wasn't working pre-patch very well. This is definitely getting quite a bit better. All right, so there's our bunkers. They have been sculpted. So we kind of have our hole laid out. It's a pretty basic hole. Nothing to write home about, but now we need to dress it up a bit. So in our third episode, we are going to look at planting, aesthetics, and hopefully turning this hole into something that looks a little bit better than this. But I think we're off to a good start. All right, see you in the next video.